Hey, what is up guys, welcome back to a Endless Runner tutorial. So in this one, we create a high score. As you can tell over here, high score is equal to 0. And then whenever we beat that score, we save the value. And then this is reflected over here, so it is always present as a high score. And of course you can beat it, so if we go crash here instead, we get a high score in full. Now this is also saved when I stop the game and I start it over again. This works for PC, this works for Linux, this works for iPhone, Androids. This works for pretty much everything that Unity supports. So guys, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so here is our game scene. So whenever we hit play, we do have this going on. We have the score incrementing over time. At 10 it goes faster, at 20 it goes faster, 40, 80, 160, and then so on. But what do we do with this score? We pretty much do nothing. We can't even keep track of it as of right now, because the moment we enter collision with this and we say either play or menu, this is gone. All the work we've put in that into making this our high score is gone. And you know what? This is not going to work. So we need to keep track of the high score basically, and what is the best score you've had. So let's just take a quick example. So now right now I have 12 in Highscore. At this very moment, at the moment that we actually lose, we should do something about this. We should save this data somewhere, and that is exactly what we're going to do today. So we are going to open up our score menu right here, not menu, sorry, script. And somewhere around there, on def, this is where we toggle the end menu. Now at the same time, we should be saving somewhere. We should be saving to our device, to our registry. Luckily for us, Unity gives us a really easy way to do this. It gives us a static class that pretty much just takes care of doing all the work. And I'll try to explain as best as I can how it works in the back end, but let's start by writing it down. So it is called player pref, and this is the static class. Now you get a lot of options like get float, get int, get string. What we're really interested right now is set int, because we're going to be saving our score as a int. Why not? We could be saving it as a float as well, but yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and save it as a float, because it is a float in the first place. And the way this works is once you open the parentheses over there, you see that this is going to take a key and also a value. The key is a string, so open up the quotes, and the value is going to be just whatever value you want to push in there. Since we're saving the score, we're going to send in the score value. And now the key is what we're going to use to retrieve that information. We're saving using that very key, and whenever we want that data back, we need to send in the same exact key. So let's send high score. As simple as that. And now, the way this works, this is going to go inside of your registry and then create an entry for that very value. Now it really depends on which operating system you are. If you're on Windows, the way you can access this is by typing regedit inside of your run bar, like so. And then you need to find where is your game save, and I'll come back to it in a moment. But before we do that, we actually need to play the game at least once, so we're saving. So we're going to play this. As soon as the ondef function is going to be called, we're going to be saving the score, so 4 in this case, and it should already be saved at this point. Let's take a look. So I'm back inside of my registry, and now we have to look. Let me just give you the full path over here. We have to go under HKey current user, then software, and then this is supposed to be the name of your company. Now by default, if we go under file, build settings, player settings, your company is right here up top. Right now we save under default company, and the name of the game is called Endless YT. So if I go here under software, default company, here it is, and I've got quite a lot of projects saved, but ours is called Endless YT, and here it is. Endless YT, we go over to Highscore, and if we double click on it, It's really hard to read right now, but we have saved a value. Now we don't need to even read this because this is not something we're supposed to read. But when we use the playerpref.getFloat, then we're gonna get the result back into a normal float. But this is saved, and now we know that this is saved. I'm going to remove all of these actually. Didn't know I had so much. So I've just deleted my save game for every project I had. We're gonna change that. The company name is going to be N3K because that's the name of my channel, and product name is going to be the Endless Runner. So now if we are to play this once more, and we actually enter collision with something, we're gonna save it. Let's wait a little bit so we get a better Highscore. Let's go for 10 or 8. That works. So now if I press F5 to refresh, under software, my company's name, which is N3K, we should have Endless Runner right here. And this one contains my Highscore. So this is how you do it on Windows. I'm not quite sure how you do it on Mac or Linux, but all we need to know is, well, we don't even need to know how this works because Unity takes care of this for us. Unity has its own function for Windows, for Linux, for Android phones. This works on Android and also iPhones. So he takes care of pretty much everything. That is why it's really, really good for us. And all we need to know is how to call this, and to retrieve the data, we do the exact same thing. We say playerpref.getFloat instead, and then it will send the Highscore float. I'm going to save this in my clipboard because we'll actually need to load up that data. Okay, so we know that we're saving stuff. Now let's go ahead and display it in the menu. So I will go back inside of my menu scene, and let's actually write the score somewhere. So back in my canvas, I'm going to create a new, we could be saying, we could be putting this inside of a text value. Yeah, let's just do a text value. Let's not complicate things too much. And this is going to be Highscore. Okay, so Highscore, I will anchor it top left, pivot point as well by clicking on this icon, then holding shift, and also clicking on this icon. Moving this over to 0, 0, and then if I just change the font color so we can see better, it's up there. It's right top left. Now maybe give it a bigger font size, something like this. I will also increment the width by quite a lot, and let's just say Highscore 2 dot and then value. That of course we'll need to set during the code while it's running. And maybe give it a position 10 and -10 in Y so we have a small margin we can play with. And change the font, of course. Okay. So our Highscore right there. Now, what script is being ran when we launch this scene? Let's go take a look. We have the main menu right here. And that's what we're going to be using. Let's open up the main menu, which if I remember correctly was a really simple script. Oh yeah, it only had one function. So for this one, we don't even need the update. Let's wipe it out. But we are going to take the start though. And here is exactly what we're going to do. We are going to start by getting a reference to the text. So we need to include unityengine.ui. Let's do public text Highscore text, and let's save. Back into the engine, we now have this public field, and we can simply drag and drop the Highscore right in there. So now this text component is equal to Highscore text, and here is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do Highscore text dot text is equal to, and then I'm going to open up the quotes and say it's going to equal Highscore 2 dot and then spacebar. So I'm already formatting my string right there. Then plus, and on this side of the plus sign I need to add the actual Highscore value as a int. Okay, so how exactly are we going to do this? We are able to fetch that from the registry using playerprefs dot get float. What float are we getting? We are getting the, I think it is the Highscore float. That's what we wrote, right? Yep, Highscore. we have to make sure that they're the same thing. They're the same exact key. There we go. So by doing this, I will get the score in float. Now if I press play, you are going to see that we need to cast this as an int, because that's our Highscore right there, 8.9. So we lasted 8.9 seconds approximately. I know, actually we lasted 8.9 seconds. Now if we went up to 10, then we wouldn't be able to compare this with seconds, because at 10 we increment the speed at which we gain points. Okay, so we have this whole thing over here that is equal to 8.9. Let's cast this into an int, like so. Open parentheses in front, and then we write in int. By doing that, I think we're gonna get an error. I'm not sure. Oh no, this would actually work. But just for good practice, I'm going to wrap all of this and then do a toString at the end. Or you could leave it like it was. It was working before, so you might as well just leave it like that. Anyway, back in the game, if we hit play, everything works perfectly. So let's beat that Highscore now. Or actually, you know what? Let's not even beat it. We're gonna get 3 as a Highscore. Now, technically, we shouldn't be having 3 written up here, but we never do the check. We simply overwrite that data every time. Now, that's definitely not going to work, because your Highscore has to be, the highest amount of points you've ever made. In this case, I would be 4, and then if I play this again and I only make it up to 3, then I shouldn't write 3, I should write 4, right? So when we do set that value, let's go back in our code. When we do set that the value inside of score.cs, before doing this, let's actually make sure that it is bigger than what we currently had. So let's do playerpref dot get float, and we're gonna get the float at Highscore. And is this float smaller than score? Now let's read that in the proper way. So if the float that is inside the registry, the one that is considered as Highscore, is a smaller than my current session score, then we're gonna go ahead and overwrite. If it's not, simply skip this line and we are going to toggle the def menu like we do always. Okay, so what's our current Highscore right now? If we press play, we have 3. Let's go ahead and play this a little bit. Okay, we beat our Highscore. Let's crash, and then it's 6. Right, if we go to the menu, it should write 6. Now let's play again. And we haven't beaten our score, so let's go to the menu, and it is still 6. And that's exactly what we've wanted for this game. So guys, thanks a lot for watching. If you have any question or comment, please leave them in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this or if you learned something, please leave me a like. I really appreciate it. And also subscribe for more tutorials like these. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.